And I take the blame also. We used to do instant miracles. Instant miracles. It was my fault. We parade ourselves as great men of God. Security is tight, very much flanked. No access. The day that you get an opportunity, extend the microphone. Ask the men of God very basic biblical things. Basic. Zero, nada, nothing, empty. Why the blood and not the money? Because the blood is powerful. No. This is my heart. Verse number 1. This is my heart's desire and prayer to God for Israel, that Israel may be saved.
That they may be saved.
That's my heart's desire and prayer to God. I have a desire and prayer to God with regards to Israel, that Israel may be saved. This is a letter to the Romans by Paul. I'm writing this. I have a heart's desire and a prayer to God that you get saved.
For I bear them record.
So my prayer is coming as a result of having seen their zeal. I bear them record that they have zeal of God, but not out of knowledge.
According to knowledge.
The zeal is not a product of knowledge. How many people are in that state? Zeal. Desire for God's things, but the desire is not birthed by knowledge. If it's not birthed by knowledge, it's birthed by what? Ignorance. That's why we have billions of people, their love for God is emanating from not knowing Him. Their desire for God's things is coming out of ignorance. Their desire to serve Him and to preach about Him is coming out of ignorance. How many churches are established that are a product of not knowing? People can go as far as starting a church, starting a ministry, because they don't know. I didn't know that ignorance can create a hunger. People of God, have you ever heard of what the Bible historians refer to as the Dark Age? Yes. From Malachi to Matthew. It is believed there was 400 years of silence where God wasn't saying anything. Quiet until Jesus appears. When Jesus then appeared after 400 years, wasn't there religion? When he came, there were synagogues. From Malachi to Matthew, after Malachi, there wasn't any synagogue. There was no Pharisee, there was no Sadducee. There are people in between the 400 year period where God is quiet. Someone is teaching. Where God was quiet, still people were prophesying. Churches, buildings were erected whilst the owner of the church was quiet. Yes, of course, people were raising money. We have a vision. God has given me a vision to build a church. Whilst this is 400 years, he's not talking to anyone, and yet people are speaking on his behalf. that did not stop religion from being formulated. The fact that religion actually is the right time for religion to be formed when God is quiet. I'm talking about the zeal that is as a result of ignorance. Zeal. There are people today parading themselves. We parade ourselves as great men of God. Security is tight, very much flanked. No access. The day that you get an opportunity, extend the microphone. Ask the men of God very basic biblical things. Basic. Zero, nada, nothing, empty. Empty. Basic things explain the incarnation. How did God become flesh? And why? Why the cross, say? Why the blood and not the money? Ah, because the blood is powerful. No. Why the blood? The highly esteemed men of God cannot answer the basics of what he believes. And for your own information, no one dares ask him such questions. You've watched the interviews. So what's your name? Say, how many children do you have? How did you grow up? No, this is a man of God. Let's skip all that. Everyone else grew somewhere. Everyone else here have got children. No, this man is supernatural. He claims to be supernatural. He has access to divine knowledge. Let's hear concerning God. It's an opportunity for us. We can't see him. This man can see God. We can't hear him. This man can hear God. Give us your revelation of the Messiah. That's when you realize that there is zeal without knowledge. Even those of you protecting us, how does it feel finding out that you were protecting an empty vessel? Do you know that it's not right to have people man a premise without really telling them the value of what is contained? Some of them are willing to die for nothing. It's important that whoever is providing security gets to know the value of what he's protecting. So he knows the aggression, the determination of ensuring that no one breaks into this facility. You need to have a clue. A clue. Is it a mortuary that we are protecting? Is it a bank that we are protecting? So in my desire personally, I had a desire. I've always wanted to serve God under a man of God, but not when he's ignorant. There is something about knowing that the man that you are helping knows what he is doing. So Paul is saying, be seated please. Paul is saying, I bear record.
For I bear them record.
I can testify that you people of Israel,
they have a zeal.
You have zeal But then I went further.
But not,
I investigated your zeal, your desire.
but not according to knowledge.
It's not according to knowledge. So he's not saying zeal is wrong. He's saying it was supposed to come as a result of knowledge, knowing something. You must seek to know something until that becomes your desire to want to share it. Know it too much, know it a lot, until the accumulation of that knowledge becomes a ministry. You are compelled to share it because, not because you have just read it, but now you have experienced it. You want others to also partake of that same experience of knowledge. Zeal. How much of God do you know before you can represent him? How much of God do you know? You can't know all about him, everything about him, but at least the basics. So right now, coming here, sitting, and I'm the one talking, no one gets to know how much you know or you don't know. It's safer where you are. If you're a preacher, do you know that people wouldn't have known how much you don't know about God had you remained a member? You have set yourself up for an investigation. People now will now know, not what you know, they will now know what you don't know. Because zeal out of ignorance brought you out of the pew, out of the rest. You chose to stand out and speak on behalf of a God that you know nothing about. So, then he says,
verse 3.
Now, watch this now. He said,
for they,
now he's about to let you know what they are ignorant of the righteousness of God. They know nothing concerning the righteousness of God, and based on their ignorance of the righteousness of God, they went about to establish their own righteousness, not willing to submit themselves to the righteousness of God. Ignorance, their ignorance, these people that are zealous, their ignorance was of the righteousness of God. On this one, let me just work it out a little bit, so that you understand. Ignorance, the church currently is ignorant. We are in this same predicament, same problem. We have misunderstood the righteousness of God. If everything that your child asks for, you provide. Can I have this? He gets it. Can I have this? He gets it. Can I have this? He gets it. I remember at some point I traveled to a certain remote place in this country, and I was talking to a certain gentleman. Then there was this boy that was very, very playful. I saw him running up and down. I said, who is this? He said, it's my son. I said, okay. So I was talking to this little boy, knelt before him. We were talking, what's your name? How is it? So what are you doing here? What do you like doing? Do you like a bicycle? He said, yes. I said, okay, I'm going to send you a bicycle. And the boy was very, very excited. I think it has been 6 years now. 6 or 7 years. I haven't sent it. But what I know is, a child being a child, they've been dreaming about it. Finally, I will send it. But I don't need to be a liar. I will send it. That's it. But you realize that in the process, apart from him just getting a bicycle, patience has been developed. I wasn't going to make him pay for it. And yet still in life you have to pay for everything. Waiting is not just a process, it's a currency. It develops you. He's qualifying himself for the bicycle. If I'd said you will have it and the following day he gets it, that becomes a culture. Next time he prays to God, it has to happen there. So that member of that church is set for a big fall. Because everything, according to most of you people, has to be instant. Yeah. And I take the blame also. We used to do instant miracles. Instant miracles. It was my fault. You pray, you ask God, and you wait. You wait. Seven times. Go and look, nothing. Look again, nothing. Go back again, nothing. Until suddenly, yet after a while, I see there is a little cloud, an appearance of a little cloud, like a man's hand rising out of the sea. You have to persevere. When you pray, it's not all about what is being said. It is the discipline that is developed. The discipline of prayer. I'm not ashamed walking with you, knowing what you have done. I'm not ashamed. I'm not ashamed. I see people looking at me like, does he know? Does he know this guy? I also enjoy being seen that way, like I don't know. It's good. It's good. Jesus would associate himself with wrong people. He wasn't afraid to be touched by the feelings of the infirmities. Look at this angel. Don't read it. He was equally afflicted when Israel was being afflicted. Even when they call you a sinner out there, people are talking about you. Yet still he is not ashamed to be associated with you. He's not. There are times when I relate with people and I'm very, very patient. I'm very, very, very patient. Very, very, very patient. Very, very. That's why when I finally give that young man a bicycle, he would have inherited something from me. Not just a bicycle. Patience. 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 I can walk and work with you for years, knowing who you are and even knowing what you are for years. Thank you. for years. That's how Jesus used to live his life. You and I know the life that Zacchaeus used to live. He wasn't just a tax collector, he was a thief. We all know that. And of all the people, Jesus said to him, "Come down." He did not preach against his money. He said, "I want to eat that with you today." Everyone was there. Whose money was stolen? They were there. Yet in this church, do something wrong, you lose a sister, you lose a brother, they won't talk to you anymore. Mere rumor, gossip. But look at them, the people that are now keeping themselves away. They don't want to be made dirty, but look at them. Look at them. Look at them. You won't like it when God himself starts breaking you down for his purposes. Men of God that I've watched in the past and even in the present that have risen to spiritual prominence, they've gone through crushing. I know this God, gentlemen, I've seen a bit. Not everything about him, but a bit. Those glimpses of who he is. I've watched him grinding men to powder before he uses them. When you are fully broken, then he starts from there. He starts from there. Not when you still think you are something. No. You must have your health restored. It doesn't matter what we did. Sometimes we were wrong doing the things that we did. We opened up ourselves to attacks. Sometimes in what we said, we empowered spirits that were weak, and we empowered them against us. When Jesus walked into the tabernacle, into the temple, him being a greater glory than that of the former, did they see the temple of Herod shining? Was there any light over the temple? No. Was it glowing? No. Yet that same temple that Jesus walked into, he looked at it and he said, "There shall be no stone left." Still, it had to be destroyed, yet having experienced a greater glory. I'm saying this to say sometimes God, he disengages you, he disassembles you before he puts you together. Before he puts you together. He will dismantle you, take away your source of confidence, everything that you once trusted in. He takes it away. He takes it away. Some of you are not even aware. Growing up without a father, there was a reason. Growing without a mother, there was a reason. Who knows? Who knows? Who knows? It was based on that circumstance that you sought for a sure father. You sought for God. Why? Because the ark of the covenant in form of a father, who is a picture of the real father, was taken out of the way. Now you know, if I'm to rise in life, it has to be by him. If I am to get an inheritance, you're no longer asking sekuru wako kuti baba wangu akasiyechi. You know he left nothing, so that you'd focus on receiving from him. If I'm going to get anything, it will have to be from God. It will have to be. But all I'm saying, my sister, today is, don't just look at what you're going through currently. In the Old Testament, all those guys that we see that work with God, God was simply present with them. In this dispensation, he's in us. He's in us. Next time you look around, you realize your husband is gone. He's not present. There comes a time even your own family, your own children will be away. In that moment, you look inside, you find him there. He's there. He's there. He's there. Once you have Jesus in you, it doesn't mean that nothing will go wrong. But his presence ensures that when something goes wrong, you are left standing and you are firm.